Subscribe Nightmare Network and press the bell icon to listen horror and scary stories regularly.
By the way, by listening to my story, you may hardly believe me, but this was a true incident, and I am very thankful that I am safe and I am sharing my story with you. My wife Linda and I had shifted to my wife's house. Yes, this was farmland, which was too much kilometers away from my real house. I married my wife Linda 3 years ago. This was when I used to work in an IT company, and I met her there. Linda was a very happy girl. But when you look at her family from a different perspective, it is very surprising that she was also involved in this. After marrying Linda, we shifted to my apartment. But Linda wanted us to live with her family, so Linda's family invited us to live in their farmland. We were living in a luxury property near the farmland, but it was part of the farmland. Linda's parents had a meat business, and they were very big businessmen, so their business was very popular. But one thing was that this property of their business was very big, where their work used to happen, and these people did not allow anyone to go there, saying that we do not allow anyone to come to our property for security purposes, and even though I was their son-in-law, they did not allow me to go to their property. I don't know what was going on in that property. Anyway, after a day, I have a lot of doubts. Why should I go to that property and find out what is going on there? Actually, when I see the road towards their meat property, there were a lot of cars coming and going from that road to that road. But on that day, there were very few cars. So I took advantage of it. When everyone was sleeping at night, I woke up at 1 or 2 a.m. in the morning. I parked my car very far away so that no one would hear me. I picked up my car, took the keys, and went towards that road. As soon as I reached that road, which was quite far from my house because it took about 25 minutes to walk there, but I was going with the car. My car's flashlight was lighting that dark road. As soon as I reached the entrance zone of that road, I saw that there was an area which was covered by a big wall around it. Although this wall was not visible from my house, but it was visible there. I parked my car on the side and decided to walk. As soon as I reached the road, I saw 3 people sitting there. They were looking very drunk. I took a chance and went behind them and went inside. As soon as I went inside, I saw that people were roaming around in military uniforms. Military? Yes, I didn't believe it either, but they were in military uniforms. Anyway, when I first saw this place, it was a very big area inside and it was very crowded. No one recognized me because I was hiding in the bushes. I slowly came out of the bushes and reached a place where there was a bunker-type cabin. It was a very dark place and I didn't feel like a person was working there. Anyway, I took a chance and I had a doubt that something was going wrong here, because some people were roaming around with big shotguns, although I thought it was a crime business. Anyway, it didn't matter if it was a crime business, but it was more worse than that. As soon as I entered the cabin, it was not a small cabin. It was so big that a person could start a business there. Anyway, I went inside and saw that there were some big cans lying there. These are the kind of cans in which we can store water. And as soon as I saw a lot of cans lying there, I had a doubt that what could have happened to be inside of these cans. Anyway, I didn't pay attention to it first. There was a book lying on the table, which we can call a record book. I opened it and saw what could have happened there. So I was very surprised. There was a very big list in it. There was something related to the government. There were some agreements. I kept turning the page, and I reached a page where it was written about some human organs. Kidneys, eyes, ears, nose, hands, foot. Apart from the organs, there were other parts of the body as well, but mostly organs were written. Like kidneys, liver, eyes, heart, brain. Such names were written, and I was surprised that there was such a big list. What were these humans doing there? I was scared and asked myself, am I also going to be a part of these? I pushed myself. I picked up that book for an evidence purpose. As soon as I went ahead, I thought that I should open that can. I opened the can, and I saw that there was a very horrific moment of my life. I was surprised. I got scared. Inside that can was blood. Blood was there like water, like a river. There were human organs inside the blood. I turned to the side and did vomit. I felt myself like dying there. I felt that someone was coming towards the cabin. It was very difficult for me to handle that thing. I hid behind a can. A very tall man. He was holding a shotgun with a big mustache. He came and checked the cabin through his flashlight. When he didn't find anyone, he went outside. I didn't know how to get out of that place because it was very crowded outside. And it was difficult to go back through the bushes because those people who were lying there, drunk, they must have woken up now. Anyway, I collected some evidence from there, like books, some documents, some papers, and I took some pictures too of that cans and organs. After doing all that things and so I could get out of that cabin, I found a window at the corner of the cabin that was looking like it will take me to the back side of cabin. I came out of the window and I searched for a chance to get out of there. I came outside of that cabin and was searching for something that could get me out of there. And I saw that there were some stairs which were going towards a tower. This was a tower where guards stand for protection, and there was no one on the tower. I went up the stairs. Yes, it was a very difficult decision, but I had to do it. I jumped off the tower. That jump was a right decision as it took me to the backside of that property, and I broke one of my right leg bones. I kept walking and walking. Slowly I reached my car. I ran so many kilometers from that place, and I am telling you this story. I have collected those evidences, but I am not able to do anything yet. But I am sure that the government is involved in this. And I am surprised that such terrible things are happening in the world. I've started to work on this alone. I am living in a small cottage here, and this place is far away from those monsters. I will show their face to the peoples, but who knows what is going to happen next. I won't share my channel, but I make vlogs on YouTube and I make good content. But once I had a situation which was very dramatic, and the vlogs that I make are traveling vlogs and daily life vlogs. I actually live in a state of United States, Ohio. And this happened when I read a news article. I was sitting in the studio when I saw that article. There was something written about a farmhouse, which was about some haunted things, like people said that the farmhouse is haunted. The article was describing a story that in 1973, there was a family who was killed due to some unknown reason. Anyway, I never believed these things and I never faced any ghost, to be frank. But the incident that happened that day was a horror incident, and it happened to me for the first time. Along with my team, there was a girl named Anna and my friend Robin. All three of us planned to go to that place and shoot a vlog. It was Saturday. We reached there early in the morning. After going to that place, I felt very cold there. Although it was the month of June, but still it was cold there. You know that the weather in the United States is cold, but it was very cold there. We took out our luggage from the car. I took out my backpacks, my vlogging kits, flashlights, and all my vlogging equipment. I took out my cameras, took out my laptop from the car, and kept it in the living room. We were preparing to start the vlog from a certain perspective. We were writing a script. It was nighttime and we had dinner. We were discussing about our video and how to start it. We were discussing about script writing and all these things. Suddenly, we felt that my camera was switched on. Although my camera was on the side, but it was switched off. We all heard the sound when our camera was turned on. When Robin checked the camera, our recording was running. We were shocked how this camera could work on his own. Apart from this, there were some other incidents. We were sitting and talking, and the lights were switching on and off continuously. But we were ignoring that. Even after all this, I didn't feel scared and nervous. I thought it was a coincidence. I forgot everything. It was around 11 p.m. We were drinking. We were planning the next vlog. And I was editing on her laptop. Robin and I were using our mobile phones. Suddenly, I felt like a human or a strange-looking figure was looking at us through the window. It felt like it was floating in the air. I am telling the truth. This is not a lie. I didn't tell this to Robin or Anna. I ignored it. I thought it was a hallucination. But Robin felt it too. Robin said, I felt like someone was roaming around our house in a black cloth. Anna also heard it. She said, you have taken too much drink. You should take some rest. I was scared. I wasn't well, but I was scared. Suddenly, we heard some strange sounds. I can't tell you what kind of sounds it was. It was the sound of a strange creature. It was like an owl was talking or murmuring something. It was really strange and very scary sound. It was coming from all around us. We were very scared. I picked up my camera. Anna and Robin also picked up their flashlights. Robin also took out his phone camera. We started shooting the video. I started telling in the vlog about that situation. Anyway, we dared to go out of the house, I said in my camera. There was nothing except darkness. But at some distance, we all saw that a figure in black clothes was floating in the air. His face was not visible, nor was his hands and feet, but only a cloth. Something was flying in the air. The way we flashed a flashlight on him, that thing disappeared from there so quickly, I can't tell you. He disappeared immediately. We all got scared there. Our bodies were trembling. What has happened? Then suddenly, while we were standing there, we heard a loud slamming door sound. It was the door behind us of that house entrance. After hearing this, I was convinced that this was indeed a haunted house. And as soon as we went inside, I told everyone that, let's leave from here. We started packing our luggage. We were in the living room. We were very scared, and suddenly while we were packing, we heard a manly, creepy voice from the room that was upstairs. Get out of this house and never come back. We were mad after listening that sound. We hurried to pack our things and get out of that house. We didn't say anything about it in the car. We quietly went home. We slept there. We woke up in the morning. We talked about it. I started to edit my vlog. When I was editing the vlog, there were no words in it. The man's screams were not recorded in the vlog. It was shot. But his voice was not heard. Neither was the voice recorded when the door was knocked, nor was the shadow figure we saw recorded in the video. Obviously, it was not to be recorded, and it was really something abnormal. Well, this thing really exists, and I am never going to that farmhouse again. I think this is after a year. I had shifted to a farmland with my wife and my 2 daughters. I had bought this property at a very low price. Because I am a very introverted person. I can't live in a noisy place. That's why the farmland I had bought was very peaceful. It was not very noisy. And the neighbors who lived quite far from me, a few miles away. I was living in a very peaceful environment. I was very happy. Everything was going well. Suddenly, after a week or 2, I am talking about the first month. After 2 or 3 weeks, whatever happened to me, I started feeling it. One night we were all sleeping. It must have been around 12 o'clock at night. My wife was sitting nervously shouting. She told me that she was getting some signals. Some signals of people. Some of them were making noise. Some of them were talking to us. There was a lot of noise. And I really couldn't hear anything, but she said this to me, shook her head, and went back to sleep. I was so scared, and my children were also worried. Anyway, a few days had passed. We had forgotten that. One day I thought, why not to have a look at my cornfield? It was evening. To get some fresh air, I went to my farmland. I had grown corn there. I had dinner with my wife and children, and I told them that I wanted to go for a walk. I went out and went to my farmland. And the view I saw there was quite amazing. It was beyond my imagination. My expectations could not go there, what I saw there. You won't believe it. There was a very big red circle, round. There were about 6 or 7 people in it. They were sitting there, and a woman was standing in the middle of the circle. The rest of the people were sitting around her. They were all men. There was a book in that woman's hand. She was reading something. In Latin words, which were beyond my understanding. I was sure that they were doing black magic. As soon as I saw them, I was completely silent. Because if I had said anything, they would have harmed me, as I was alone with no weapon for my safety. I came home slowly. I told my wife everything. I told her to take the children and lock herself with them in a room. I took up my rifle. I refilled it. I was a bit nervous. I came back to the cornfield. They were still there. They were doing the same thing as before. I screamed in a loud voice, "You all get out of here, otherwise I will break your heads one by one." All of them saw me. The woman didn't see me. She was standing there with her eyes closed. One of them, get out of circle, and run towards me. I didn't have a chance. There was no other way. I took out my rifle and shot in his left leg. He fell down screaming. The rest of the men stopped behind him and stepped back. When they heard the sound of the rifle, the woman started running from behind. The men also ran away from there. I caught the man I killed. I dragged him to my house. I called the police. I told them everything. The police reached there. He caught the man and took him away. I get to my home and checked if everything was okay. My wife and kids were scared and crying. I hugged them all and told about the incident. They were relaxed after knowing that police have arrived and protect the area. I go to that place again. There were some symbols inside that red circle. They were trying to do something. Obviously, they were doing black magic. I had a doubt. There were other people there. Why were they doing it? That was a very scary thing for me. My wife was telling the truth that day. I took my wife and daughter. We left the farmland. We are now in the city. There are crowds here. People want to come here. I know that I like peace. I don't like noise. But it is safe for us instead of that lonely place where people do black magic for wrongdoings. We are now safe and very grateful here. This is where I can stay.